raised to parliamentarians what they think about the climate protesters and whether or not they're like the ones that are on Centrelink on welfare payments, and as well the ones that are arrested for actually disrupting cities, etc. Like when the ones that glue themselves to the road and stuff, you know, and just ruin everyone's day, waste everyone's time, just act like complete fuckwits. And as well, there has been some talk about the vegan protesters who literally trespass and raid farmers for absolutely no reason but their delusions. Whether they like the ones that are on Centrelink as well and get arrested committing these serious crimes, if they should have their payments cut, because they should probably be, if anything, they should be out. Like, obviously that makes sense, right? They should go get a fucking job or something, do something productive. But if they got the energy and the time and they can plan all this stuff, I'm sure they could like start a business or something. But even the ones that couldn't, let's just say they stay on Centrelink, they stay on welfare, there should be some program set up for them, which is like a re-educational thing, like they just go do a course for like 3 months or something, so they can still get their payments. They should go to a course, right, and they should actually learn the proper science and what the actual scientists say, because all the scientists are in agreement. It's about 99% of scientists around the world, or maybe 97% or something, that say that, you know, there's no global warming. That's stupidest. Like, that's the dumbest thing. Anybody who has a rational understanding, scientific method, and analysing scientific data, you know, I get it, and not all laymen understand how to analyse scientific data. That's why you need responsible people educating people on what it means, okay? And showing them the ropes, showing them how to analyse it for themselves. So they should just have some type of course set up like that, right? Where they actually learn that oh no, we're actually in a grand solar minimum. That means there's low activity in the sun, and we've just this past year, we've actually come into a mini ice age, right? So there's record snows in all places around the world, record frosts and floods and things as well, right? Record droughts in Australia, and people haven't seen for hundreds of years, or generations and generations. And this is all because we come into a grand solar minimum. The activity in the sun is very low, and that means we've entered into a mini ice age. Okay, so it's this idea of global warming is literally satanic. Okay, Satan's thing is like inverting everything, making good evil and evil good and all this. So we've come into a mini ice age. Yet people are going out disrupting society, gluing themselves to roads to stop a global warming. Look, these cunts are just, sorry for my language, but these people are Satanists. They worship Satan, and they worship death and destruction. Alright? That's why they want to disrupt everyone's day and wreck the city and glue themselves to roads and stuff. And if they honestly had a problem, if they honestly wanted to get a message across or protest or something, yeah, they'd just do it in a sensible, reasonable way, and show people the data and the facts and the scientific understandings, you know? And then people would be like, oh damn. But that's the thing, they can't, you see, they can't. They have to just try to disrupt everything and create chaos. Because if they actually looked at the data and the facts, they'd realise, oh, the data and the facts all say that we're in a mini ice age. There's no global warming. Temperatures have dropped. Oh. So then they couldn't keep going on about their climate change and this and that. Now, another big subject, another thing as well, right? The protesters should actually agree to have their welfare cut, because their whole spiel, their whole thing is a reduction in carbon emissions, right? So if their payments are cut, that's going to reduce carbon emissions. So they should be cheering. All these protesters should have already cancelled their payments, shouldn't they? if they weren't hypocrites who were just trying to cause shit for everybody for no reason. Okay? And then the same with the vegan protesters, right? More animals are killed growing crops. And look, I know what I'm talking about. I'm qualified. I have certificates. I'm a qualified agriculturalist, alright? This is my profession, my career path. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not some fringe weirdo who listened to some videos on the internet. I'm actually qualified. I've got academic awards for agriculture and horticultural landscaping and whatnot. I actually have studied the science, you know. I'm qualified for this type of thing. So I can tell you as a professional, as a qualified professional, that when you grow crops, right, monocrop fields, you have to kill hundreds more animals. Okay? Hundreds more. It's thousands actually. It's literally in the thousands. Because when you think about it, right, one cow, if you kill one cow, you cut that beautiful creature up into steaks and different pieces of meat and whatnot. That one cow, that's one life, right? That can feed an entire family for 3 to 6 months. Right? And for the equivalent of calories to feed somebody, right, or a family, in plant matter, you need to grow that many crops and use up that much water. It's huge water wastage. You have to destroy the land with monocrops. It's not an efficient way to grow. We should be using permaculture designs. And then you have to kill all the pests, that's thousands of innocent roos, possums, mice, rats, all these other critters that the vegans are supposed to care about. Yet the vegans would rather eat vegetables so that thousands more innocent critters have to die, when they could just eat meat and then less animals would have to die if they just ate meat. So the vegans are complete hypocrites. These global warming protesters that are, protest against carbon emissions are complete hypocrites. And that's why they just go out and cause drama and cause chaos, because the facts do not agree with them. The scientists, the data does not agree with them. Again, I'm telling you as a professional, I'm a qualified professional with academic awards in this field. Who are you going to believe more? An actual professional who actually knows what he's talking about, myself, or some crazy communist fringe weirdo who supports the genocide of innocent people and raiding family farms and stuff? They're criminals. They're not all there in the head, alright? And it's understandable if they're vegan, because your brain is literally made out of animal fat. It's cholesterol. So if you don't eat enough animal fat, your brain starts to literally rot away. That's another biological fact of science, alright? So it's understandable that these vegans are a bit woo-woo up in there. They're a bit soft in the brain, because they're not eating enough meat. You need to eat meat. You have to eat animal fat, animal products, or your brain's not going to grow. So it's understandable why these vegans act like complete nutters, because they literally are. Their brains are rotting away, literally. I'm not being insulting or anything. This is a fact of science and reality, okay? But the most interesting part is that these individuals, okay, are what the old communist commissars and elites used to, in Russia, right? They did the same thing. They shut down the farms, and 30 million people starved to death in Ukraine and stuff in other areas, okay, when the communists took over Russia. These people, the vegans, these protesters who are disrupting society and trying to destroy our food source, right? Exactly like they did in communist Russia. Look it up, research this for yourself, okay? The most people who died in World War II were white Christians, slaughtered by the millions, tens of millions, by Jewish communists, okay? That's the big massacre, the Holodomor. The Holocaust, that's scientifically impossible. But the Holodomor is a fact of reality. Okay, so it was the Jews killing the Christians and the whites. The Jews massacred the whites, and they used useful idiots. Okay, that's what they literally called them. It's a part of the operative. If you look at you can read the files of what the top communist agents used. Right, they radicalized people who had no idea what was going on, and they created a divide. It's divide and conquer. They radicalize these, what they call them themselves, useful idiots. Okay? Then they use these useful idiots to disrupt our society, to destroy our system, which the protesters are doing, and they're about to have another protest where they want to shut down the cities and everything, and they've made a battle map. They made a literal battle map where you can go on and you can literally, like it's a Google Maps thing, right? And it shows you where all the farmers are in Australia, and they've made it as a battle map, and they send in troops to raid and destroy farmers' property. This is a communist coup. This is a Jewish communist takeover. Judaism is a foreign political entity, just like Islam, and they're trying to take over our nation. Okay, so and anybody who's supporting them are committing treason against our people, the Constitution, and our nation, and it needs to be stopped. But this has all happened before. It's not like this is anything new, or it's a surprise, or it shouldn't be hard. It should be simple to understand. Just look at history. They did the exact same thing in Russia when the Jewish Bolsheviks took over Russia and slaughtered the white Christians, the European Christians. They did the same thing. They attacked the farms first, so that we starved to death. And when they did it in Russia, tens of millions of innocent women and children starved to death. That is what these protesters are trying to do, okay? And you can look at who's funding them. The people who set up like Extinction Rebellion, George Soros, and other globalist Jews. They're the ones who have set up these organizations, these protests, and the vegan raids on our farmers. This is a Judaic political ideology, a Zionist political ideology, okay, literally attacking our nation. They're at war with us. They're trying to take us over. They did it in Russia, and they were successful. We cannot let them repeat it here in Australia. We need to protect our farmers. We need to stop these idiots from protesting and shutting down our cities, because that will shut down our commerce. That destroys our economy. You understand? They're purposely trying to... They're accelerationists, essentially. They want to create civil war from a chaotic situation by disrupting our general society and our way of life that we've had for hundreds of years in this nation, and for thousands of years if we stretch back into our European roots. They're trying to subvert our people and take us over. Alright? And it must be stopped. We have to be smart about this. Again, you can doubt everything I'm saying, but it doesn't matter because you can look it up yourself. Everything I'm saying is fact, and it's a historical fact, scientific fact, and it can all be verified with data. That's why I don't need to go out and glue myself to a road or attack someone's property. I can just tell you the facts. I can just tell you how it is because it's a fact of reality. You can look it up yourself. You can look at the data and go, oh damn, Raymond Foster's right. He's actually right about everything he's saying because I can see it myself. The proof is there. Yeah? And that's why they can't just tell you. And that's why they're trying to disrupt our society. But again, there's layers. It's like an onion, my friend. It's like I just planted some onions in here, right? This whole situation's like an onion. On the top layer, it's just vegan protesters and environmental weirdos and people like, oh, these dickheads. well, why don't they just go back to school? And then you get a layer below that, and it's like, you know, these are maniacs who are being manipulated, and they're trying to disrupt our society and make us all starve to death. And then you peel another layer, and you're like, oh, it's the communists. They did the same thing in Russia. And then you peel another layer, and it's the Zionist Jews. It's Israel trying to subvert the entire planet, take us over, and enforce their Noahide laws. It's all written in the Talmud. It's a part of the Jewish prophecy of how they're going to dominate us Gentiles, or what they call goyim. In Hebrew, that's cattle. They consider us their animals, their property. Only the Jews are true humans, according to the Talmudic teaching, and us non-Jews are just their cattle. They believe they are the master race, God's chosen, and they have to rule over us. That's why they created communism. Karl Marx, he was a communist Jew. His father was a rabbi. So communism is one of the fronts of Judaism. Communism is Judaism. There's plenty of Jews who even admit this in themselves. Famous Jews, in the Jewish Encyclopedia, it's been written about it, etc. So you can look all of this up. You can check it yourself. Fact check me. And if I'm wrong about anything, please let me know. Show me the data. I'll change my mind, because I don't have an opinion on the matter. I just want to follow the truth and protect my people and nation, and follow the constitutional law of our country. Okay, and if anybody's colluding with Israel, Mossad, communists, and by extension these vegan and global warming protesters, well then they are actually committing acts of war, and if they're citizens, treason against our nation. And according to Australian law, they must serve a life imprisonment for committing treason against our people and trying to have a coup against our government. So there you have it. There's a bit of information for you. I hope that opens it up for you so you can understand the whole picture and what's actually going on, and why these environmentalists are trying to shut down our cities, and why these vegans are trying to raid our farmers. Okay? It's a communist Jewish invasion, and they just use what they call, in their own words, it's written in their own documents, useful idiots, to implement a chaotic civil war situation, and then the communist government will rise up and enforce itself, enslave us. People like, if they win, people like me are going straight to a gulag to be executed, just like what happened in Russia, right? And that's why we need to band together as a people. We need to protect our farmers. We need to stop these idiots from protesting. And we need to expose the Zionist Jewish communists who are trying to overthrow our government and nation. Okay? Thank you. Take it easy. Enjoy yourself. And get out and garden. It's good for your soul.